technology is great. However, in the early 2010s, and as we moved into the mid-2010s, careful observers began to notice that American youth were not doing particularly well, right? Many of the things that we see as markers, kind of the external tip of the iceberg evidence of not doing well, those things were going way up. Anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation, actual suicides. And by December 2022, this was going mainstream. The Attorney General says there is a crisis in youth mental health. And you see, some of the charts, and it's literally like hockey sticks with, many of these indicators. Of course, we've been talking about this all day, so we won't belabor this point. But it has, been very, very serious. And I will note, I don't know if we've all seen this, but, there had been a lot of hope that the young people go through this really bad season in their teens, but then mid-20s, they're going to level out. There was a 2023 study out of Harvard that found that rates of anxiety, serious anxiety and depression for young adults were actually double that for youth. Things were actually getting worse for the young adults in their 20s. So, this can feel really overwhelming, right? Really, really overwhelming. Just thinking, where do I start? Maybe we have kids who are a bit older and we're just like, what do I do? It feels too late, or maybe, I wish I'd done a little differently, right? We were all just kind of flying blind, trying the best we could as parents or caregivers or running programs, making our own choices, right? It feels very difficult at this point to make shifts. But here we come to the really good news. And I just find this really good news. So the truth is that even modest changes can make a really significant difference. And number of studies. So here's the one I'll focus on, and we'll just briefly touch on a few others. But this very year, University of Alberta, Canada, and they recruited about 500 individuals. 250 were just in the control group, no changes in their habits. The other half, they installed an app that basically made it so that their phones did not receive internet. So they could do voice, they could do text, but no internet. And they just tested that out for 2 weeks, okay? At the end of these 2 weeks, then they took them in and did all of their, follow-up studies, questionnaires, lots of different things. Notably, very, statistically significant, not just little blips, but very substantive decreases in depression-related symptoms, anxiety, and anger. Interesting. Increased happiness. They were just saying, I feel better about life. I'm happier. I'm reporting my life is better. Large boost in attentional capacity, equivalent to 10 years of reversed aging. In 2 weeks. 2 weeks, right? And and just if you think to yourself, this came without any side effects or cost, right? Now imagine if I had in this bottle a pill that could do all this for you. How much, how much would it be worth, right? Like whatever company I was with, you're like, I'm gonna get that stock real quick before anyone else finds out about this, right? This is 2 weeks. And people were still using their laptops for all the normal social media stuff and everything. They were free to, at least. So now, I'm not saying it would necessarily be easy to make this particular choice, but on the other hand, it's like very, very, conceivable, and without cost, without side effects. Let me add the caveat: there were side effects actually, but they were all good. They slept better. They felt more socially connected with others, and they felt more self-control. Like I'm a little less driven by my impulses. Those were the side effects. And I could walk you through many different studies who are finding similar things, that the relatively small choices in fairly short periods of time make a significant difference. They followed up with these folks 2 weeks after the study was over and found that many of these effects had very much lingered, even though they had, taken this app off their phone. So some probably continued in some of these practices. They're like, this makes a difference. I'm gonna stick with it. But so a number of these other studies. This was out of University of Bath, no social media for just 1 week, decreases in anxiety and depressive indicators, increases in well-being. Another one, reduced social media 30 minutes a day, replaced it with exercise. So the displacement fact too, right? Just not only reducing the bad, but doing something good, and boosted life satisfaction, happiness, depression down. 6 months later, they followed up. These things were still measurable then. Another one, 2022, just brought smoke. So it didn't totally cut out internet on the smartphone, just reduced it by 1 hour a day for 1 week. Same type of things, okay? This is encouraging, right? Like, wow, we don't necessarily have to totally dramatically become a monk. Like, even modest changes really can make a difference.